Welcome to Blueprint Radio. I'm your host, Martin Williams. Here we help you create a blueprint for your life. So let's build. And welcome to Blueprint Radio. My name is Martin Williams. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. You may do so on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and SoundCloud. All the links to the podcast can be found at guidedexpressions.com/podcast with an S, or wherever you're listening to this podcast right now. So it is good to be back in the saddle, back to podcasting. It's been a while since I've had a chance to record. Some personal issues that have been going on, and I'll progressively talk more and more about those in future podcasts. But today, what I wanted to do was just kind of stop off and share something that I've learned over the last couple of weeks, and something that's really helped me, and hopefully it'll help you too. So what I do, I still work full time, and I am building a coaching business, mainly through content, but I'm also a web designer. I also design websites. And so, that's something that I've done off and on for the better part of 10 years. But I got to a point where, I had some bad experiences, and I really didn't want to do web design anymore. So I kept fighting it, right? Even though I know how to do it, even though it, it comes fairly easy to me, it's something that I, more often than not enjoy doing. It's just sometimes dealing with customers, dealing with clients who basically expect the world and expect you to give them the world for nothing or very little. But, it's something that I've had to learn. I've had to learn to, have boundaries with clients and so on and so forth, right? So fast forward, or should I say rewind, to about a week ago, and someone out of the blue wanted a website. And I was in New York. I live in Florida, but I was in New York for, like I said, some personal issues. And, I was in a position where I could use some money, right? The trip had gotten more and more expensive, it seemed, as it went on. And I could really use, a cash infusion at that time, and I didn't want to, hit up my savings, right? So this person wanted a website, and, I was happy to do it for them. Let them know how much it was. They gave me the deposit right away, and I went to work. And I am, probably about 90% done, maybe 80% done, depending on how many changes he has. But it was really a pleasant experience, an enjoyable experience. Hopefully we can do some future work. But my point is that it was a simple thing, and I made it more complicated than it needed to be, because I've been looking for a way to leave my current job for quite some time, and I kept trying to figure out what are all what types of things do I need to do in order to leave my job. And it dawned on me, we'll just do the websites, start doing it part-time, and then as I build my client list up, I could get to the point where I can go full-time. A simple thing. And a lot of times we don't want to do the simple things. We just want to, we want to look for the most complicated, most convoluted path. And a lot of times it's not about that. A lot of times it's about doing the simple thing, doing the thing that you already know how to do. For most people, their way out is something that they already know how to do. It's not something that they have to learn necessarily. It's not something that they have to, you're not a 4-year degree away from being free. Most people can do what they already know how to do and change their lives. So there's a story in the Bible about a man named Naaman, right? And Naaman had leprosy. And leprosy was an incurable disease. There was no pill, there was no treatment, there was no cream, there was nothing, right? To get rid of leprosy. Once you had it for life. And he came across a prophet. And the prophet said, go and dip in the Jordan River, 7 times and you'll be healed, right? I'm paraphrasing. But Naaman, instead of dipping in the Jordan 7 times, he got upset. He felt like the prophet was being condescending, basically saying, well, it can't be that simple, right? If it was that simple, there's just no way that, just going to a river and dipping in the river, am I just going to be healed just like that? I mean, we're not talking about something that is easily curable. We're talking about an incurable disease, right? But it took Naaman's servant to set him straight. The servant told Naaman, or asked him, I should say, if the prophet had asked you to do some great thing, would you not have done it? Right? So why aren't you doing the simple thing? And there was so much wisdom in that, right? If the prophet had told him to scale a mountain and, pray to some far off entity, right? Naaman probably would have did that, but the prophet told him to do a simple thing. And because it was a simple thing, he didn't want to do it. And a lot of times that's what happens with people, right? If you want to lose weight, there's nothing wrong with getting a trainer. There's nothing wrong with getting a nutritionist. All those things are good. But honestly, if you just eat less than you burn every single day and walk an hour a day, you're probably going to lose weight. Drink water, all the simple things, all the things we already know how to do. If you just did those things, you would lose weight, unless there's something medically going on, right? If you apply to every company in your city, someone's going to give you a job. It may not be the first company, it may not be the second, but if you apply to every company, right, someone's going to give you a job. Now, is it something that you might want to do? It might not be, but you won't be broke and you'll be able to, pay your rent and pay your bills. Right? It's the simple thing. We don't want to do the simple things. And I think it has a lot to do with ego, right? We all want to be the hero in our own story. We all want to have a story to tell where we overcame this great obstacle to have this goal in our lives. And there's nothing wrong with, encouraging other people. But at the end of the day, isn't the point to get rid of the problem? Isn't the point, in Naaman's case, wasn't the point to be healed of leprosy? Like, who cares how it happens, right? The point is to get this stuff off of you. So your skin can be cleared up. And of course, as soon as he dipped himself in that Jordan River, his flesh appeared as a young boy, the Bible said. Right? So, isn't it something how it always happens? I know for me, there's times when I go, almost like drive myself crazy trying to do something convoluted and going through all these hoops, jumping through all these hoops, when the simple thing was sitting right there in front of me the whole time. And we waste so much time, right? Because we don't see the answer right in front of us. And I think the thing to ask ourselves whenever you find yourself in a bind, whenever you find yourself in a quandary and you don't know what to do, is what is the simple thing? What is the thing that I can do right now that's going to move me forward to where I want to be? And almost invariably, it's going to be something that's sitting right in front of your face the entire time. The whole time, that answer was right there. But you were trying to, make something amazing happen, when the amazing thing would have just been to dip yourself in a river, or, call that person and apologize, or, just call that company and ask for a job or ask for the work. There's if you're in business and you're trying to get more customers, the simple thing is to ask people to give you an opportunity. Give me a chance to redesign your website. Give me a chance to, redesign your interior or whatever the case may be. It's the simple thing, but we make it way more complicated than it should be. So my takeaway, if you haven't guessed by now, is to do the simple thing. Don't make life more complicated than it has to be. So thank you so much for listening. My name is Martin Williams. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for listening to Blueprint Radio. For more information on Martin Williams coaching and products, please go to guidedexpressions.com or visit me on Facebook as well as Instagram.